Coach, what are your thoughts about the position battles in the secondary? It looks like a lot of veterans, but young guys trying to push them.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you got guys like, a couple of those young kids, and Brian Walker and Desmond Lawrence, who've come in and are making some waves, and some people are excited about. But it's great to have Jabari and Tim that have the experience that they have. And we talked about this as a senior class, and remember these seniors when some of these guys got thrown out there as freshmen in that Chick-fil-A Bowl in 2010. I mean, they had to start. They didn't have a choice. I'm sure they were scared to death. But at some point in that game, they realized they belong. And so these guys have come a long way. And now it's, okay, you remember what it was like as a true freshman. There's somebody in the program that kind of put their arm around you and brought you in and taught you things. And so we've really emphasized making sure those guys do the same thing. And that's part of the legacy you leave, is that, hey, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, Brian Walker's saying, hey, Jabari Price taught me how to do this. And then you just keep carrying that tradition over and over until where eventually these guys, they coach themselves. They take care of each other, and that's when you got it where you want it.
Is there an area, when you were talking about the defensive improvement of guys being a year in the system, where you think you can see the most improvement? If it's cutting down on big plays, if it's, I don't know, missed assignments, is there something in particular you really want to see?
Well, yeah, I mean, we obviously want to cut down on the big plays that we gave up last year, and we want to create more turnovers. Those two things have been a point of emphasis. And I can say, we really had one practice where you're actually going against each other and doing some things, and the defense, created some turnovers today, so that was a good thing. They gave up a few big plays that they don't want to do, but they created some turnovers. So, that's really a point of emphasis for us every single day. And for the offense, it's, don't put the ball on the ground. Don't turn the ball over. So it's obviously that's something we keep track of. For the defense, it's how many turnovers can you create? How many balls can you knock out? How many can you return for 6? I mean, all those things, and we keep track of all that in the practice. And so, those guys know what I guarantee you, throughout the entire practice, they know what those numbers are. They may not say it, out loud, but they know. If you ask them, they can tell you. And they know what they need to do before the practice is over with.
Did you think the way you guys ended last year defensively, that the guys were getting better? I mean, with Bren, there was a moment, he said, where at the end of the year he felt far more confident. But the way you guys ended the year defensively, you were giving up 30 a game every game, it seemed like. Was it just kind of one of those things that guys had to fight through it and start fresh this year? Or?
Yeah, I think there was probably a little bit of at that point you got to a situation where I think there was probably a little bit of a confidence problem, and then you, when, it all goes down to overcoming adversity and just eventually stepping up and saying, hey, enough's enough, and we're going to do things and get it done, and probably didn't do that in some situations on the defense side of the ball.
Marquise obviously missed some time away from the team last year. How has he responded to being
really good, he actually surprised me a little bit as to how smooth he's transitioned back in and really has done some nice things in 3 days. Now he's got more experience than anybody else back there, so he should, but he did, and so there'll be some nice competition at that number 2 spot.
Who is that guy right now, if you had to name a guy?
I don't know that we've named a guy, but him and Mitch are probably rolling reps with the 2s right now.
Can you figure out where Darius Lipford can help you after not playing for a couple of years?
We've got him at the Bandit right now. He's kind of freakish in what he can do as far as strength and jumping and running. So he's very, very athletic. So we think he fits that hybrid position pretty good. A guy that could come off the edge and go get the quarterback, but also a guy that could drop in and cover a slot if he needed to.
Is he hungry like he should be after?
I would hope so. He hadn't been out on the field for 2 years, but a little rusty too. He's been riding a bike for 2 years, basically. Rehabbing. So a little bit easier over there than when you're out there, we laughed at him today about that, because he looked like his eyes were about to roll back into his head a few times, and I made the comment, yeah, that bike's a whole lot easier. So, but he'll be fine.
I gotta get Coach down to the autograph session, so we got time for one more.
In the return game, how helpful is it to have Thorpe back, and also who are some of the other guys you're looking at?
Yeah, we've got, right now, I mean, because we're early in camp, we're looking at a lot of guys. So, right now, as far, you're talking about punt returns, kickoff returns?
Punt and kickoff.
Punt returns, we're looking at, Thorpe and Logan and Switzer and Schenkel. Those are the 4 guys that are working right there. Those 4 guys are also working at kickoff return. You throw in Tim Scott. Let's see, I got to think about this now. Because we're working about 8 guys on kickoff return. Chris Francis is back there. Romar Morris is back there. Tapley's back there. So I feel comfortable that we'll come up with, I usually like to carry about 5 guys on the kickoff return, and usually, I like to have, 2 really solid guys on the punt return and a guy that's ready to go if needed. So, and it looks like at this point, I think we'll be able to do that.
All right.
Thank you,
Coach.
All right.
Y'all.